Yeah, welcome back. This is a big issue. We're now moving on to the AG and OSP matter. But of course, Nipapo, someone is just in. It's just fair that we give him a minute on Nana Konadu. So, Nipapo, a quick one on Nana Konadu. Then we'll move
yes,
on.
Good morning to your wonderful listeners and viewers. I think the statement made or issued by the General Secretary of the NDC was quite apt, and it captured the essence of what the NDC felt about the departed Nana Konadu. You know, in describing her as the mother of the NDC, I thought that was very reconciliatory on the part of the party. Because, yes, she left with the NDP, but if there has been anyone who has defined what it is to be a feminist, affirmative action leader in the past maybe 40 years, then you would have said this man, Madam Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, because from the PNDC Law 111 to the affirmative action platforms such as the Beijing Women's Conference and all that, she has been at the heart of that. And if someone has defined what a female leader should look and epitomize, then you say it's her. Because at the time, sometimes you would wonder whether she had a heavier schedule than the president, President Rawlings, because the hinterlands were where she was. And for a young mother who had children and who had to leave them behind and go in there, form the 31st women's movements, the Gary processing factories, and all those things. Those were, and then the kindergartens. You cannot discount those things. The markets. Those were serious issues that affected women and their development. So I think that perhaps it will not be far-fetched if in the future we commemorate her, either her birthday or her death, as one of the commemorative dates within the party's calendar, so as to cement her legacy in the party.
Irrespective of what the last...
No, yes, and that's why I said the statement made by the General Secretary was very, very informative. And I think that it symbolizes the thinking that we can let the past be the past. And the fact that you can't erase someone's contribution. Yes, you may have your differences, but when it comes to the history of the NDC, even the logo and other things, her contribution cannot be discounted, even in terms of material and other things. So I think that she has done her part.
The NDC will call for a state funeral.
Clearly. I mean, that one is without a doubt. That goes without any shred of doubt. So I hope Ghanaians continue to commemorate her legacy.
Great. Now, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, says Ghana cannot formally seek the extradition of former Finance Minister Ofori-Atta from the United States until a solid legal case is established. He explained that the U.S. extradition laws require formal charges and a comprehensive docket before any request can be made. Mr. Ofori-Atta remains in the U.S. months after being declared a fugitive in February. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series in Accra, Dr. Ayeni addressed reports suggesting limited cooperation between his office and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, saying that the Attorney General's Department is still awaiting the necessary case files.
There has been a lot of talk on both mainstream and social media regarding what is happening. All right. In a nutshell, the processes have begun for the request to be made. The point is that the request to be made to the American authorities. When doing extradition, you cannot make a request unless you have a solid case, a docket that has been built. And in the case of the Americans, the practice is for you to have filed charges. And so, for instance, when Kofi Boateng, when we extradited Kofi Boateng, Kojo Boateng, to the U.S. on the request of the Justice Department of the United States, the Justice Department actually sent me what they call the bail of indictment. All right, that's the charge. Those are the charges. They sent me the charges, the supporting facts, and everything. And ladies and gentlemen, they spent 6 years investigating the the syndicate of criminals that included, Kojo Boateng, 6 years. All right. So the point that we have made, that my deputy made, is that without a docket, we cannot make the request. So we are still waiting for the docket. That is all I can say for now. I have read everything that has been said by the OSP and his office. I respect his office. I respect the autonomy of the office and so on. Okay, but we in the Attorney General's department cannot begin an extradition request with a bare letter. We need the evidence to be able to do so.
Great. So that was Attorney General Dr. Yini. Now, the Office of the Special Prosecutor sent some press statement out, and I read portions of it. It says that on the 13th of June 2025, in the 13th of June 2025 letter, the Attorney General requested for 2 officers of the OSP to be included in the prosecution team. The Attorney General also requested a copy of the docket. By a letter dated 20th June 2025, the Special Prosecutor responded to the Attorney General by providing the names and contact details of its 2 nominees. In respect of the request for a copy of the docket, the Special Prosecutor informed the Attorney General that OSP was in the process of boarding up the various dockets on the subject, which work had been extended following a search and seizure of documents and computer servers carried out by the OSP and National Security at 2 offices of the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML, on June 10, 2025. In September 2025, the Attorney General followed up with its request. Beyond the official written communication, there have been progressive discussions involving the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor on the one hand, and the Special Prosecutor and the Deputy Attorney General on the other hand, in respect of the course of the extradition process. On the night of Thursday, 16th October 2025, the OSP noted a leakage on social media of the communication between the Special Prosecutor and the Chief of Staff and the Attorney General, and the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor on the matter of the extradition of Mr. Ofori-Atta, accompanied by a negative commentary that the OSP was intentionally frustrating the Attorney General in the extradition process. The OSP confidently states that the leakage of the official documents did not arise from its end. The OSP firmly places it on record that the extradition process was triggered by the OSP based on the outcome of the OSP investigations into the tenure of Mr. Ofori-Atta as Finance Minister. The OSP is not frustrating and will not frustrate its own extradition request. Therefore, there is absolutely no reason for the Attorney General's department to feel frustrated. If that is the case, in respect of a matter it is not involved in substantively in respect of the investigation and prosecution of suspected persons, since the OSP investigations and prosecutions are independent of any authority. Yes, it goes on and on. But let me also bring you the 4 or 5 matters Ofori-Atta is being wanted to answer. One is in respect of the GRA SML deal, contractual arrangements between the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited and the Ghana Revenue Authority, aimed at enhancing assurance in the petroleum and mineral sectors. Some 1 billion cedis, etc., involved in that. The ECG Beijing contract, termination of a distribution, loss reduction, and associated network involvement project contract between the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited and the Beijing Xiao Sheng Technology, BXC, which Ofori-Atta facilitated. The National Cathedral, that is commonplace. And then the One District, One Ambulance initiative. This concerns a contract awarded by the Ministry of Health, initially managed by the Ministry of Special Development Initiatives, to service Ghana Auto Group Limited for the purchase after sales service and maintenance of some 307 Mercedes-Benz ambulances for the National Ambulance Service. It has been reviewed that Ofori-Atta approved a staggering $34.9 million for spare parts for these ambulances, despite the firm being discredited. The company allegedly linked to the daughter of the former President Akufo-Addo and all of that. This out of use tax, OSP also probing payments made from the utilization of the Ghana Revenue Authority's tax refund account, etc., etc. So these are the issues the OSP wants Ofori-Atta to answer. Ofori-Atta is not in the country. We are told that he is not well. He's undergoing some medical treatment, keeps shifting the dates. And now it appears clear to the OSP that extradition should be the way forward. I start off with Nipapo, right? From where you sit, is it the case that the OSP, quote unquote, is frustrating efforts to get the extradition process ongoing? The OSP argues that it cannot be frustrating its own process because it initiated a process by writing to the Chief of Staff. What was the position?
I guess I guess there's much ado about nothing in my opinion, because the processes and the legal basis for extradition is clear. When it comes to the U.S. and how the procedure by which they deal with their extradition matters, you need to have charged the person. Then you need to provide the evidence, because they have rules against political persecution, prosecutions that are tainted by other things other than a purely criminal matter that you have been charged with and for which you must appear in court. And so you need to be careful in the evidence and the procedure by which you present the evidence, so that nothing taints the application that you put before the U.S. courts. Because if you miss it, that's it. You won't get the shot again. You understand? So the OSP initiated a red alert application, which means that you are declared a wanted person. That is about restricting your ability to move from one jurisdiction to the other freely. The presumption is that the docket, the building of the docket, which by way of investigations would have been going on simultaneously. But then if you look at the statement of the OSP, they say that they came across additional information from the SML investigations, which require them to what? To study and to put in a form that would make it easy to present in the docket. So simply put, the docket is not ready.
It's not ready.
You understand? And the AG has no role when it comes to this matter until it is presented with the docket. So you can tell the AG that, look, help me to, and the AG is the only authority, state authority, that can deal with issues of what? Of extradition. So yes, you've done the red alert part. You are still in the process of completing your investigations. You say that other matters came up which you want to consolidate in your docket and present to the AG. The AG wrote in his letter, which we've all seen, give me even an interim docket. Let me see the state in which the docket is. OSP says, I'm not ready to present you with that yet. I will give me a few more weeks and I'll present it to you. And they were clear in their statement that they need a little more time to conclude their investigations and present the docket. If you know how the AG's office works, if your docket is not ready, it's not ready. There's nothing they can do with it. That's why in the letter requesting for the docket, they said, give us either the interim docket, let us see where you are, so that we can advise ourselves as to whether we can even use what you have presented to what? To commence the process. So I think that it's not a matter of blame. See, my admiration for the style, being a former prosecutor of this IAG, is that he takes his time. Despite all the pressure that is with, and that is one of the things you must be careful about. And I think the NDC this time around has learned lessons from the past, where perhaps under our previous administrations we rushed certain prosecutions because of political pressure, and we paid the price for it because we never got even a single conviction in court. This time around, if the docket is not ready, the docket is not ready. And he will not be rushed into, because at the end of the day, it will be the same person to take responsibility. And you heard him say, if he rushes the docket and things don't go well, these are the same people who will call him incompetent. And every lawyer's pride is your reputation. You understand? You don't want to be tagged as an incompetent lawyer, because that is how you eat. And so one day you leave public service and move into private practice again. And you wouldn't want your history in being written to be written as one who was an incompetent attorney. So I think his position is correct. He has indicated that whatever it is, I think all parties realize the fact that this is a matter of public interest.
Yes.
a huge chunk of accusations have laid against the person of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta with all manner of allegations. The investigations must be done right. If OSP feels that it is not ready, it is not ready.
But there's about 5 cases, huge cases,
Yes.
the OSP alone is dealing with,
Yes.
whilst there are other investigating bodies.
The AG is also dealing with other cases.
Okay, so these 5 we know, which are huge
Yes.
nonetheless. You think the OSP is taking on too much than it can ordinarily deal with?
They haven't complained. They haven't complained. I can see this time around the OSP is very busy. You know, filing its cases, you know, amending its charges. And so that's how we want it. We want to see all the agencies working to deal with. Let's make corruption a very unattractive exercise. You understand? It is important that the investigations are done and done properly. And then the prosecutions are done and done well. So that when the docket is ready and we are in court, then we can shift the pressure to the court system and say that we want to see day-to-day hearings. We won't allow you to, or then we can put the pressure on the AG. Look, you are in court. We want you to deliver the cases on time. Right now, when it comes to Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, he needs to be in the jurisdiction. The only way you can get him into the jurisdiction is, of course, to what? To have the evidence. As it is, yes, you've declared him a wanted person, but you haven't filed any extradition process backed with evidence that requires him to be in the jurisdiction. So you can't complain if he's found himself, at least you've held him or you've held him in a corner. Literally, you've prevented him from being able to move around on the passport that, you know, is known. That restriction is a bit, you know, it narrows his ability to do a few things. However, the next step is bring the evidence that is needed to back the extradition request. That is where we are.
But again, before I go to Nana next, but before I go to Nana, the man says he's sick. I mean, he's sick, and
that one will be brought when he's in the country. I think all of us want to see Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta.
So even if he's sick in a very debilitating manner,
have you got any evidence?
No, I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah,
we've
we
all
are
seen
all
him.
speculating.
But he says he's sick. He's even said, I think
he says he's
Ghana is not sick.
What is?
He says he's
No, I have not seen. I have not seen.
You see,
Everybody is
the point is this. The point is this. He, as an accused person, does not owe anybody assistance in his own prosecution. Do you understand? He would lift a finger. If I were offering him advice, I'll say stay put. Because at the end of the day, you have no onus to help somebody to prosecute you. You understand?
So you tell him to remain in the US until he's forced down.
But you have the onus. The work, the responsibility is on you, the state,
prosecutor or
the state to bring the evidence. So the AG is telling you that I have not gotten the docket, and without the docket, I cannot initiate the extradition process because I will look stupid. I will then what? Have only a letter of suspicion that I suspect the person to be. Come on, nobody will do that because if you do that, the Americans won't take you seriously. When they were requesting the extradition of our citizens, they came with a docket, properly built. They said, bring us even an interim docket. And we deal with interim dockets all the time. You will get it to a point where it will tell you that, okay, investigations, but at least it will give you something to be able to work on. They haven't received it. So clearly, the AG at least needs to tell the public, and has informed the public that I don't have the documents needed to trigger whatever it is. So let the OSP tell us. The OSP then is forced to come out with a statement. So we are at the doorstep of the OSP. And we demand that the OSP does his work.
Great. Nana, of course, you have dealt with the OSP in many fronts. But we deal with
He's
that
a friend. He's a friend.
He's a friend to the office. We'll deal with that in detail. But, of course, the AG is saying he needs an interim report. So for the report is not ready, we can't force the report to be ready. But give us an interim report. You think it's a reasonable request from the AG for which the OSP should what's the word? Is it respond or should respond?
It's more than reasonable. When you look at the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act, it is clear that in pursuing its objective, it has to cooperate with all other state agencies. And indeed, in this instance, it is obvious that without the cooperation with the Attorney General, he cannot achieve his object of getting Mr. Ofori-Atta into the Republic of Ghana
without the agent.
And so this is a clear instance as to why the framers of the Office of the Special Prosecutors Act came to the conclusion that cooperation is a necessity for the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In my view, this is not a matter which should have blown to the proportion which it has gotten to. Because one, the Special Prosecutor himself used to be a junior of the Attorney General in Chambers. And with, you know how we cooperate with our seniors.
So it should even be an advantage.
That's right. Seniority is seniority for life in practice. If my senior calls me today, no matter what I'm doing, no matter our differences that may have perhaps, been the situation or whatever, I'll go. That is how legal practice we operate. And so the Special Prosecutor should be happy today that he has a senior as the Attorney General. In fact, I was surprised to have seen that he rather wrote to the Chief of Staff and not having gone to see the Attorney General, unless there is some conversation behind the scenes that we are not privy to. However, without being privy to that conversation, it will come to me as a surprise for him to have rather written to the Chief of Staff, because you know that extradition requests are made by the country. The Attorney General is the one that initiates it. And when you have your senior in Chambers as the Attorney General, it's a matter of going to him to have a conversation. And so that came to me as a surprise. Now, when the Special Prosecutor, out of his own volition, made that request from the Chief of Staff, one would have thought that he knew what would be required to be able to achieve that object of his. And so in writing to the Attorney General, in writing to the Chief of Staff, you should be ready to cooperate with the Chief of Staff to assist you in bringing your target home. And so question is, at that point, what did the Office of the Special Prosecutor thought was going to be needed in helping him achieve his object when he wrote to the Chief of Staff? Was it that he thought it was going to be diplomacy? That there was going to be some diplomatic relationship? No, in America it doesn't work like that. Ken Ofori-Atta would definitely go for one of the toughest lawyers. Because if he's minded not to come to Ghana, in fact, even if he's minded to come to Ghana, he knows that once that happens, it affects his record. And so you should anticipate that you have a whole huge, humongous legal battle ahead. And so merely writing to the Chief of Staff, right, in my view, raises a lot of questions. Okay? Beyond that, let's also look at how the Office of the Special Prosecutor has handled Ken Ofori-Atta's issue up to now, and what the recent development highlights. Firstly, when the press conference was held, it was obvious that there was no charge against Ken Ofori-Atta. There was no charge. And yes, because you see, when I raise these issues, people probably think
you're an axe to grind.
No, I don't. I'll tell you why. I'm a student of constitutional law, and I'm very much aware of Ghana's constitutional history. And I don't take for granted where we are today. And I think that it should be protected. It should be protected with the view to building institutions that appreciate compliance with due process of law, respect for fundamental human rights, respect for the Ghanaian. It is only when we respect the Ghanaian that the others will also respect us. And that is why sometimes I even have a problem with our courts. That what is the basis upon which the arrest warrant, the order for arrest, was even made? Because with this development, it is obvious that the order may have been made on very scanty information. That is without regard to the fundamental human rights of this country, the Constitution of Ghana. It appears that judges that are making orders for arrest really do not appreciate the Constitution
Don't
of
have
Ghana.
enough to make the orders.
Yes, and to that extent, they don't appreciate the Constitution of Ghana. Look, when the Supreme Court decided that going forward, a person charged with murder is entitled to bail. Going forward, a person charged with defilement and rape, they are entitled to bail. They were only speaking the mind of the Constitution. When that situation persisted, or was the order of the day, the state prosecutors slept on the job because all they needed to go to court was to flash.
So it's a murder matter.
There's a charge of murder. And so somebody could even, someone who has an axe to grind with you,
Could frame you up.
to frame you up.
make
And
an
that became the order of the day.
Perhaps-
Young girls were being instigated by their parents to accuse people falsely, and they were being held in custody for months, for years. I did a case like that. People don't know, and that's why some of these matters I'm passionate. If you ask Wilberforce, a young man who had just finished his national service, gotten a job at SGSSB, one of 5 people that had been hired nationwide, was accused of defilement by the niece of a woman he was living with. My brother, this boy, because of the law, was kept in custody for 9 months. 9 months. I fought. By the grace of God, he had his liberty. And that is why I'm passionate about these things, and people don't understand. I don't think that people who have been given the power by the law should also be given a pass by our court. Because already their arms are strengthened by the law. And the court which stands between them and the ordinary person is also giving them a pass. And so, in respect of Ken Ofori-Atta, I don't think he may not be my favorite person. He may not, I'm saying. He may not be the favorite person of everybody here. But he's entitled to the protection the law offers him. And so when you came out to hold the press conference, what charge were you pressing against Ken Ofori-Atta at the time? Now you see, you hear what the Attorney General is saying. He said, in the US, without a charge, an extradition order will not be made. And so the fundamental basis is that there should be a charge against Ken Ofori-Atta. Meanwhile, at the time these press conferences were held, there was no charge against him, right?
At the time, he said he was wanted for questioning. He wanted him to come to answer some questions.
Article 19.3 of our Constitution is clear. You don't need him. You don't need him, and he summed it up. And I've made that point over and over again. And I heard some lawyers saying they disagree with me. Recently, my brother people who I had that debate with in your studio has now come to the table. That is why a person is entitled to keep quiet when you arrest him. And so if he keeps quiet, what is the utility?
Just go ahead and do your case.
Exactly.
Just go ahead and do your case. Prove your case.
Exactly. And so we have come full cycle.
You see, but you see, the principle of natural justice also is at play. Because, yes, you have a right to gather your evidence, you have a right not to keep, but at least you have a right to be confronted.
Natural justice in what sense?
So, the point being that, you say I have done...
No, you give him a hearing?
Give him a hearing.
No, but everything shows that he's been invited.
See,
He's been
it's
given
a procedural
opportunity.
issue. So natural justice has not just got to do with the substantive law. It also has to do with the procedure by which you are seeking to bring the person before the court. Have you ever given the person the opportunity to be confronted with them? So that is where his point... That's where his point that you have the right to keep quiet. So then you are confronted with it.
No, but the point is...
It's not obvious that the man wants to keep quiet.
They've invited you many times. They've even initiated processes to get you in.
Yes.
The state clearly has, done things to show that they are ready to give you a hearing in fulfillment of the natural justice.
Yes.
Anyway, let's go.
When you go to court and there's a challenge of the breach of your right to natural justice, all you need to show, right, against a person who is saying that there was no respect for my right to natural justice is that I made the effort to hear you, but you, right, refused to come.
And enough effort has been made.
Enough effort is being made.
You finish.
And so the question is this, my brother, all this while, what the OSP was doing was much ado about nothing. Nothing. Now it is clear. When you went for your Interpol red alert, what was the basis upon which the court made that order for the arrest, necessitating the Interpol red alert? You see, and this is why I'm saying our courts are failing us in this regard.
Maybe the court saw the preliminary evidence, the evidence that I want this man for ABC, this amount of money, this, that, and that, national cathedral, etc. He is not coming. Can you issue an arrest warrant for
That is
him?
why I say that they fail to look at the Constitution. Look, a person's liberty, which is guaranteed by the Constitution, should be respected. It is not a joke. The liberties of a person guaranteed by the Constitution is not a joke. In some instances, even when the Constitution has been suspended, some judges have appreciated this historically and protected it. And today, when we have the Constitution, then you need to do more to demonstrate to me why I should curtail that liberty. And that is where I'm saying we are being failed. Now, let's move on. You were able to secure a red alert. Now, the Attorney General is saying, give me the docket so that I can move on to go and bring him. And you say the docket is not ready.
Just like the kingpins, you can't find
You have to augment it. You have to augment it. If indeed there was something, go to the Attorney General and say, Senior, this is where I am. This is where I am. However, I think that I've gotten evidence A, B, C, D that will make our case tighter. This is it.
Allow me some time.
Allow me some time.
In any case, there are about 4 or 5 areas. So even if the SML one is what you are dealing with, that's just one out of the 4 or 5.
That's right.
What happens to the others?
Exactly. And so, why the delay? Why they need to issue a press conference? Why they need to issue a press statement and so on and so forth? Because the press statement was consequent upon the Deputy Attorney General having come out. And we are politicians. The Attorney General is a politician. The Deputy Attorney General, even though an academic, is a politician. When he comes out like that, he knows why he's coming out. I'm sure he didn't come out without the knowledge and consent of the deputy. It was a strategy to communicate to the world, because you see, the rank and file of the NDC have been up in arms for some time, demanding that the oral, something happens. And so they are here to tell you that, look, we are ready to work on Ofori-Atta.
That is the man.
But it's the man. That is all he came to communicate to us. Right?
That has triggered all of this.
And I'm saying, very respectfully, all of them, they are friends. If it was easy, I know Dr. Dominic Ayeni. If it was easy, if there was some communication going on at the time, there's no way he would have made the Deputy Attorney General come out to do what he did. And so we need to appreciate this and urge cooperation as required by the Office of the Special Prosecutors.
Let me press you on this. Why would you think that the OSP would not want to be cooperating with the AG's office?
That's a question the gods can answer. There's no art to tell the mind's construction on a human face. I can't tell by looking at his face. Because I don't know what is going on. I can only assume. I can only assume that he didn't have it. If he had it, he would have made it available. Because for him to have written to the office of the Chief of Staff clearly shows an intention. And so, clearly, what kind of intention? Is it an intention of willingness to cooperate? If it's an intention of willingness to cooperate, then you sent it yourself. You submit it. So you should be more enthusiastic in cooperating. You should be in a hurry to deliver. But now, for the very person that wanted help, is now being chased and he's backing out, knowing very well that the help he wants cannot be delivered without the AG. Now, I've heard, for instance, some things like leakages.
Yes, so that's a major part.
Wait, I'm coming. when the office of the special prosecutor is pursuing a job, look, leakage. What can be detrimental in this regard? The leakage can be detrimental to the investigations, and I'll tell you why.
No, but he says some of those leakages put some of their officers in line of peril.
And so, who was going to help him in the extradition? So, if the leakages,
He wants the identity
Of the people out.
people disclosed.
no, I'm saying that. So, he doesn't trust the AG. Is that what
No,
we're
no,
saying?
no. He's saying that the leakage. So he doesn't point fingers at the AG as being the source of the leakage. He's saying that whoever leaked the document has put officers of the special prosecutor's office
But the
in danger.
AG has sworn an oath.
Which document was leaked?
No, there was some. You know, there was his communication to the chief of staff, the chief of staff's communication to the AG, the AG's communication with himself.
OSP,
also,
yes.
OSP, you know, so there were communications, and all of that got leaked.
It's part of the trigger
one evening,
of the
you know, so-
all the.
But let me ask you,
And he says his confidence did
Salom.
not come from his office.
Salom. So what makes him think that? What makes him think that is the AG that leaked it?
No, but
He
he's
said
just
that.
talking
No,
for
but
himself.
what's
He didn't say
special
that.
about that?
No, he didn't say
I
that.
don't see anything special
What is
about
special
that
about that
leakage.
leakage?
No, but he's worried that his
Let's all
his
stop
people's
for a second.
identity.
The names
Wait,
of the
it's- no, I'm
investigators.
sorry.
As stated in the
The
correspondence.
names of the investigators who are to take charge
Yes,
of.
and
the,
that's dangerous.
Yes, that's not. That's not.
No. I'm saying they are stated in the
So yes,
correspondence.
so there was.
Yeah, that's what he claims.
Yes, there was.
I have not seen
There
the
were the
leak.
names of two people. There was a request from the office of the AG to the special prosecutor
Yes,
to
two names
indicate
and contact details.
of the persons who would be
Assisting
the
the
assistant,
AG,
the
as a
AGs
liaison between the two
to
officers.
the two officers in dealing with the extradition, and the names were provided.
I don't see
An
why-
investigator is a public officer.
No. But you
No,
see,
but
you
see,
see, it is not
the safety.
all. Of course,
I mean,
you know all the narcotics.
We are dealing with
agents,
Ahmed
for
Swale and all
I
of
don't
this.
know.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
we don't even know who.
Investigator.
You don't know how many. You know all the
investigators probably.
BNI investigators.
If you want to know,
No. It's
But
it's
we
also
put out
exactly.
free without
No.
any effort.
Exactly.
I mean,
That
the
is
leakage is not ideal.
The leakage is not ideal, but
I
And so
don't
now,
see it
now the
as
point
so
is,
fatal.
so he is careful.
Yes.
My
Or
brother,
is cautious.
cautious with the Attorney General's office. The AG, the office of the special prosecutor, is the rib of the Attorney General.
Sure.
In fact, the Attorney General said it's autonomous. In my view, there's a question of constitutionality even about the creation of the office of the
OSP,
OSP.
And all the OSP's point is that he's independent.
And I'm saying that there is, I know that.
Yes.
The
Article 88 and all of that.
the
Yes.
OSP
Is a
is
rape.
under the oversight of Parliament. Even though its statute seem to say that it is not under the control of the AG when it comes to prosecution. In my
He's taking
view,
powers from the AG.
in my view, it is
has
even
supervisory-
unconstitutional. It is
But
not.
you are provided that same power to other agencies.
That power, the AG when the AG gives you power,
The
you
AG
are
could,
under its
the
control.
AG could tell you to
If you look
stop.
at the DACOP Act, for
No,
example,
but the AG
you
could
pass
tell
the
you.
DACOP Act.
But I'm saying
but the
that
AG will tell you to stop
it
an
doesn't make
investigation.
it constitutional. The AG has the exclusive power
Yes.
when it comes to prosecution.
Yes.
The AG determines who
We all know that. But the issue is also to do with you create an office and you say that for corruption-related offences, you do not want, because of previous experience,
Because AG is political.
you don't want that prosecution to be interfered with by the AG. So the
So you
AG
insulate-
now,
you insulate-
the AG now cannot enter a nollie prosecutor when the attorney
When
when
the
the
OSP
special when the OSP has initiated the case.
an act of parliament. An
Cannot
act
be.
of parliament
Cannot override the Constitution.
override the
Article 11 is
Constitution.
clear. Wait, no, so now let me come to this. You put the civil society and all of that together for me. I mean, leakages and all of that. Give me an interim report. The report is not coming. They say they are in the process of the extradition. They have said a number of things that they have done recently. So, for example, the OSPs identified a fugitive. There are verification and charges. Interpol red alert has been done. Submission to the Attorney General, and all of those things. They are the processes. They are somewhere along the line. You think that the OSP is delaying, or you think that the AG's office, because of public pressure, it's just speaking to give them some time?
No, I think clearly the way the OSP is conducting himself is a clear case, once again, in our country of let's do something to represent something. No commitment. No commitment. You see?
No, even though he's held press conferences, people have even said that the way he manages emotions is that it appears as if he has a specific axe to grind against Ofori-Atta, etc., etc. This is just to represent something.
There are so many phases to this issue, and I think one of them is whether or not, if indeed even the OSP is constitutional. And I agree.
No, but that's a bigger discussion.
There are so many different phases to this.
Or somebody could go to court in the heat of it to throw the OSP's office away.
I agree 100% with my brother here. In my view, the OSP is unconstitutional. In my opinion, I think it must be stated clearly.
We better take the case for the OSP.
But you see, we created an institution, an anti-corruption institution, in line with one of the underlying values of our constitution, which is probity and accountability. So when you are talking about the purpose of the constitution, which ultimately is to protect the liberties of the people, the lives of the people, and their right to pursue their own happiness, you must juxtapose that against also the burden on politics to build a strong state. You understand? And Ghana, in line with the principles, and also in the preamble to our constitution, and one of those values is the value of probity and accountability. So that's why we set up the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and we felt that we needed to make that position non-partisan. We needed to make it independent. I find it worrying that the OSP did not have the courage, the cojones, to bring these charges, not charge, let's say, so to bring these allegations against Ken whilst Ken was in office. Because the issue of the cathedral has been an issue that has been raging for some years. No, but you see,
how do you bring charges against it?
It's beside the point. You understand? The point that the people of Ghana, because the president, when he pushed for the OSP agenda, made a case for the need for us to have a body, an institution that was both independent and non-partisan. And in fact, that was the best way for us to deal with the raging issue of corruption, which was making it very difficult for us to fulfill the purpose of our constitution. You understand? Then for us to have this office, which is meant to be independent, and the person who is the OSP to not have the courage to bring these allegations against the finance minister whilst he was in office, flies against everything that the so-called office was meant to stand for in the first place. Two, I find it very worrying that all this controversy, the press conference, because the press conference is not just the recent press conference, but the famous press conference in January. All of this happened when clearly there was no charge. Because as it stands now, 10 months down the line, there is no charge. So is it a case that, like we always do, we are playing games with something as serious as beyond somebody's rights, but something as serious as the allegation? Because to think that 96 million dollars or cedis of our monies are lost, and all we have to show for that 96 million dollars is a big hole. And to read the report from the auditors, that says that these monies were expended without the authorization of procurement. You understand? The SM1, you were quoting about 1 billion. So that all these monies have been lost. These monies are being attributed to the what's called finance minister. The OSP was unable to initiate any action whilst Ken was in office. In spite of all the so-called audit reports, we have auditors and internal auditors, external auditors, and there was no cause for the OSP to bring or to initiate any action when Ken was in office. And then you started for 10 months, there's no charge, and you have press conferences and you do all this. So for me, I think it's a clear case of a fundamental lack of commitment once again to fight corruption.
So fundamental lack of commitment, as in the OSP is not interested in advancing this case.
And that's what I think. I think that there's enough evidence, you understand, There's enough evidence to make me believe that once again, let's do something to represent something. And I think it's a fundamental problem with our country. So we believe in the creation of institutions as a form, but we do not imbibe those institutions with the spirit, with the spirit to build the virtue of the. So, let's do something to represent something. Once again, we play games. You understand? We deceive the public. We hold press conferences, and clearly, I don't think anything is going to happen.
So what can the AG do? Is the AG's hands tied? Can we say that, okay, there are 5 cases against the kind of Ofori-Atta you are dealing with? Can you just focus on to give us 3, or what can the AG do?
No. So the AG's hands are not tied.
If it's clear from what you're saying that it's just something is just being done to represent something.
It is very clear.
But the OSP is independent.
No, but article, you see, I think
they were going back to the constitutional argument.
Yeah, because whenever there's a conflict, a seemingly conflict between the constitution and an act of parliament,
you resolve it in favor of the constitution.
It's so clear.
Resolving it in favor of the constitution means to scrap the office.
I'm saying that my senior didn't go as far as to say it was unconstitutional. But I'll go as far as to say that the OSP is unconstitutional for all intents and because you see the constitution is so clear on into whose hands the prosecutorial powers of government has been granted to. Is the Attorney General. So the OSP is like is similar to an agent of the he's the one mandated by the Constitution of Ghana, mandated by the people of Ghana to prosecute issues. So that indeed, I think the AG should take the cases from the OSP. Probably we should go to court and challenge the constitutionality of the
constitutionality of the court, and if that goes in favor, if that goes in your favor, it means the OSP is scrapped.
It should be scrapped. You see, you see, when we are building institutions, when we are building institutions, we ought to build them well. You understand? So I think when a debate on the OSP happened, people raised those issues that if you indeed wanted the OSP to be independent, then the proper way to do it was to have amended the constitution.
That was going to be a long route.
But it's better than what we have now. So better than what breach. You understand? It's better because right now you have an OSP who, like I'm saying, didn't have the courage. He did not have the courage to charge Ken when Ken was in power. They are doing this press conference, in my opinion, it's just the normal games. You understand? The AG's hand shouldn't be tied. Because what is at stake goes to the very foundation of the virtue of this country. The extent to which corruption is destroying this nation. You see, Aristotle says something when he defined politics. That politics is the master science that is concerned with what the strength of the state and the well-being of the citizens. So when you are in politics, the other things, law, economics, everything, you understand, you should be able to control them. To what end? To the strength of the state. And we know what corruption is doing to our country in terms of the values of our. I know we'll discuss what's called the NSS issue and the other corruption issues. It's unbelievable what corruption is doing to our state. And then in a bid to fight corruption, we create an institution by breaching the constitution. And clearly, we see the way everything is being handled clearly shows a fundamental lack of commitment by all of us. Whether those in power, those of us in opposition, the journalists. There's a fundamental lack.
You are not in opposition. You are not even in parliament.
Oh, we are in opposition.
You are not in opposition. You are watching. You are watching.
I'm not in opposition. I'm not opposition.
You are not in opposition.
Bro,
you don't have one seat in parliament.
Listen. You see, when you naturally, you see, if you consider the fact that power, the people are the sovereign, then every Ghanaian, you understand, every Ghanaian ought to be interested. So those who do not want political power now, you understand, can choose to say that they are in opposition. You understand? It's not about going to parliament per se. The CSOs are not in opposition. But you have a huge role to play in the politics. So for me, I think my position is very simple. I think all what is happening is a clear case of, once again, let's do something to represent something.
There's no commitment.
And unless the AG himself takes steps by taking the matter from the OSP, and he has the constitutional mandate, the power, he can do that if he chooses to. Then I bet you nothing will happen with this.
I see. Let me take a few messages. I'll come to Senor, who is civil society, who is everything really. This is from your brother Palgrave and our friend Dr. Palgrave Bachidanko. He said, "You are a very good panel this morning. Solid stuff from everyone. Tell Apia Danko, my brother, to come from UP." He said to come home. This one from Papa BC in Spinter says, "Hi Salam, sad to hear how corrupt people in position of trust milk the state. Worst ones from so-called judgment debts. All those in the MPP thinking oral is just a political talk show should take note. Very, very soon, tribunals are on their way to kickstart the whole show of prosecuting those corrupt ones in MPP and within the society who they would. So they should relax and watch the show in a few months." Yes. So, Senor, I mean, civil society is part of the reason why the AG's office is feeling pressure. And of course, the OSP's office is feeling pressure. The OSP has said that it takes time to build dockets.
Contaminated fuel. It's been a while.
Which one is that? Is that
it's putting sand in the guy. So I mean, and the message
there's a scandal.
the message to you guys is that it takes time to build a docket. You don't just want to put something together, rush to court. The court to throw it out because the court deals with hard facts, evidence.
As a friend of the learned people, I'm not the learned man. But my friends are learned.
You teach learned people.
And I teach
learned people.
Yes, but to be honest, I think that politicians must look at this corruption matter very carefully. Probity and accountability are fundamental to the construct of our constitution. They reflect aspirations and ideals and values around which we bring into reality those promises that a constitution gives us, which includes a better life and all that for our people. It creates a framework for our governance. So when we deal with issues of corruption, the way we deal with them, it's a problem. At the heart of the dwindling confidence in our democracy is corruption. Like we discussed last week, everybody calls each other corrupt. And yes, all of you want to come and rule us. Almost every coup in this country that has been successful has had a story, an allegation of corruption. Every single government that has knocked out another political party has come campaigning heavily and making accusations of corruption, only to go out with the same kinds of accusations. We should take this matter very seriously. You and I, for those of us sitting on this table, we know what a curfew looks like. We know how uncomfortable it is. Some of us may have seen parents moving from one house to the other just to manage these kinds of situations. It's not a very interesting thing. But the youth today are beginning to believe that seems like the right way to go. They look at Burkina Faso and the purported progress that's going on there. People are beginning to think like that may be the best way to go. We are failing people. And the more people get to hear about corruption and our inaction around corruption, the worse the confidence in democracy is. So to my brothers here, the active politicians, I beg you, I understand. I delivered a lecture at the Constitution Day lecture, and I said that corruption is the currency for our democracy. That is the kind of democracy we have created. It is the currency. It is that one thing that funds our democracy. But you need to realize that it is the one thing that will kill the democracy. So we need some serious rethinking. The conversation here about whether the constitutionality of the OSP or not is an important one. It's also a reflection of will. Is there some kind of confusion? There is a legitimate confusion around that matter. But why didn't we solve it properly? By those people who are supposed to be the pioneers of law, the MPP at the time. Why should we talk about long routes? Why should we talk about convenience? Is it that both parties could not even agree that corruption has to be dealt with an institution like this? It's a problem. This is something that should actually get consensus quickly from everybody. If we have to amend the constitution, this one would have required just 2/3 or so of it.
It's not entrenched.
It's not an entrenched thing. I don't think so.
88 is not entrenched.
Is it 88?
No, we
Is
can
it
just check.
entrenched? I don't know. All right. If it is, then fine. Maybe we'll agree that way. And if it is, and we are using this as a bypass for now, it's not something we should be fighting. It should be something that we should all be working towards, because we realize the policy construct, the policy value, and democratic sustainability in that kind of office. Do we need the office of the OSP? Absolutely. In a very politically intrusive and pervasive environment like this, which is the primary anchor for facilitating the corruption, how do you leave the prosecution or the fight against corruption to the same people? I don't understand.
The OSP is even the special prosecutor is appointed
By the president.
by the president.
Exactly, I agree.
He goes for vetting. So the same procedure. And so the thinking that you are appointing an OSP, a special prosecutor who is more independent than the Attorney General, is even defeated by that.
I don't
But
agree
even-
that
even
it's
in the
but
case
I
of the Chief
understand.
Justice,
I
somebody has to
understand.
appoint
Hold on.
somebody.
I
But the Chief
understand-
Justice
I
or the
understand-
Chief Justice will say it's independent.
In respect of the Chief Justice.
I understand that.
let's-
Why there's no? I was on the floor. He cut it. So
No, but-
there's no
no,
letting. I was on the floor. Don't come cry.
No, you go ahead, right?
While there is red in orange, orange is not red.
Orange is not red.
You understand? So I agree with him. We want to go to green, but in orange there's red. We are moving from red. So you where we are is better than the other one. So it's not a debate. That's something we all agree on. You give the man the independence, the person can turn against you, but you need to resource them. So we need to re-look at that office. On this particular case, so I mean, substantively on that office is a very important office. And it has to be properly resourced. I've had my own positions on how we should be appointing such offices. I don't think the president should be left to do that on his own. I think that Parliament should have a 2/3 influence over those decisions. And it should not just bring one person, it should bring a number of people. There should be a proper debate. There should be a proper public interview like you have in the Kenyan Chief Justice system. And then we all see. Then we know who we are bringing. And when you appoint somebody, both the opposition and the ruling government will relatively have an interest in that person. And the person will be freely independent. You want to remove them, you go through a very thorough process. That also requires the same level of influence. You know, so I think that there's a way around that. But it needs a proper constitutional review. Now, on the substantive matter of this particular Ofori-Atta, the government, the OSP must realize that Ghanaians are wild and angry. And whatever Ofori-Atta did to personify a lot of the Ghanaian pain, it is his problem. But that is the reality of the time. From the DDEP and all that, the way he went around exercising his power and influence, people are really upset. People are angry, and people expect that if he is legitimately culpable in a matter, that he be properly dealt with that person. His day in court should come. What I don't understand this table, and my brothers and the lawyers have still not explained to me why. Why is the case not able to proceed with or without Ofori-Atta in Ghana? What are the charges? After all this while, we still don't know the charges. I think that the OSP, and I appreciate the work he's doing. Kisi is a hardworking guy. I've known Kisi in school. He's a fine brain. He had a first class, if I'm not mistaken. He has a relationship with Ayini. He worked with Ayini in Ayini's firm for about 4 years or so. All right? These are not people who are strangers to each other. So there's a great basis for proper cooperation. Personally, there's a relationship that exists. So when they do this,
which should be advantageous to the cause.
so when they do what they are doing, to be honest, the two of them are brothers. You are not helping us. People start feeling as if you guys are deliberately playing some totals. It's not totals. Can Ofori-Atta matter? It's a serious matter. From the SML to the ECD, the power sector matter, to the ambulance, to the cathedral matter. I beg you, Ghanaians need to see action. It's not that we should just see people moving around, but we need honest engagement. So when the OSP has come and he's done a press conference and everybody thinks that everything is supposed to happen, then suddenly we are hearing 10 months down the line that docket is not ready. you are not helping us. So the communication should be very clear. Where we are, what we are doing, the progress we are going to make, and how much time it will take. But I believe that while we are discussing extradition, this extradition for me is neither here nor there. We accused Sedina, and we took her through the process.
Baba, she was in
But
court.
she was,
She was in court.
Please,
No, she was in court.
I want to be.
And
I
she
want
left.
us to. Look,
No, wait,
I need.
yes,
I
go ahead.
I need you people to tell us on this table. You people are the one who went to the school. Are you saying that without Ofori-Atta's presence here, the constitution which I read will not allow you to try him in absentia?
It will allow you.
What are we talking about?
allow you.
Put
Look
your
at
docket
19-3.
together, deal with the matter.
Look at 19-3.
Whether the man wants to come or not, if I am him, I will not want to come. If I feel that I will be, I don't have a case. If you know you have a case, Mr. Ofori-Atta, you quote Bible more than everybody in this country. Quote Bible to yourself, have faith and come in and defend yourself and clean your name. But if you are doing this, it is evident that you yourself, you know.
No, he said it's not well.
My brother, who is not well? Your eyes, you are wearing special. Are you well?
No, there was.
Who is not well in Ghana?
no.
Who is well in Ghana?
No,
At where your pocket is not well. We are all
if
not
he
well.
cannot bring himself down,
Please, he knows Ofori-Atta is working. He's not bedridden. If he wants to come, he will come. If his money was here and then it was his government, do you think he won't come? When he had COVID or whatever it is that happened to him during the COVID time, and he was sent to Mayo Clinic, didn't he come back? Left here in Ghana at the time. How did he sit in the plane to go? Please stop playing cha-cha with people's lives. People are very upset, and let's not wane the confidence in democracy. For me, it's my biggest problem. So everybody, you know, Ofori-Atta, have faith, pray your prayer. You pray everything. You wear white, do blow your tongues, and come to Ghana, and come and solve the matter. OSB. Do your work, AG, no grammar. Whatever it is, deal with the case. If the guy is guilty, he's guilty. If he's not guilty, he's not guilty. There's no way that you can say that these cases that have been mentioned are matters of their political prosecution. Every Ghanaian had a major interest in this particular matter. So resolve it.
Great.
And let us go.
Great. Let me just. So I mean, a few messages. Penny Nafo says, "God bless you, Nana Bafu. We are always pleasure listening to you. Great submission from they call you people's lawyer. I didn't know that.
That one is not true.
And this one says,
how many free cases has he done? If you don't pay this man good money, he will man you.
Good morning, host.
If you pay him, then you get good job.
Good morning, host. The AG just wants to win the public trust, but some of us know the tactics he's using. If indeed the NDC wants to fight corruption, why didn't they start from their homes? This one says, good morning, host. I have noticed anytime there is a change in power, these our politicians play games with us. We know all their taxes. God alone can help us. Now, let me come to you, Deepak. Okay. So there's 19th.
19-3.
Okay.
Yes. Which says that 19-3, which says the trial of a person charged with a criminal offense shall take place in his presence unless he refuses to appear before the court for the trial to be conducted in his presence after he has been duly notified of the trial. And when you check the Criminal Procedure Act, Criminal Offences Procedure Act, it tells you the procedure for notifying such a person. And so once that is satisfied, you have satisfied the constitutional requirement. And that is why I've always taken the position that it was pure drama which the OSP was undertaking. But wait, if I may, let me finish. My brother, you see, there's a proverb in Chi which says, "Atekro enkwanwai." So when you are gambling and you are left with your last shilling, very respectfully, it will be absurd for you to gamble with it. In fact, it will be great risk, right? Imprudent risk. And so for a country like Ghana that has very scanty resources, you need to be careful the way and manner you apply those resources. I agree. We need an office that will be independent in the fight against corruption. The question is, are there not enough of such officers that we could have by an act or by way of an amendment? Please allow me. made independent. Wait, I'm coming, my brother. Wait. The fact that it is our creation doesn't mean that
Our creation means the MPP government.
Yes, it's our creation, but I've taken a position from day one. From day one, everybody knows my position. When MPP was in power, I had that position. My brother, I am not one of those who, very respectfully, I respect the position of a party, but it doesn't mean I shouldn't have an independence of thought. And I'll do so with humility and respect to authority. You see, my brother, you have the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, and a constitutional body that has a history of going after people in power. During the days of President Rawlings, they were doing it. The days when they made adverse findings against PV Obey and co.
Rawlings, in all honesty, has been a better Democrat than all the other Democrats.
Wait, my brother, wait.
I'm being honest with you.
Wait,
He allowed that
Madam,
office.
when you are talking.
No, let's
When you are
finish.
talking.
Oh, especially Konadu.
Thank you.
I disagree with you, but
Let's stay on track.
so Shraj, my brother, all we needed to do, right, was, you know, apart from the constitutional provision on Shraj, the details of Shraj's operation is in statute. And so we could have given that power to Shraj in the statute, if we're minded to. We have the Financial Intelligence Center. Wait, my brother. Wait, I am coming.
No, he's saying that we can fortify. We could
my
fortify it.
brother, Allow me. Allow me. My brother, you have Yoko. You have Yoko. You have all these. Yoko is also an office, the creation of Parliament, just like the office of the Special Prosecutor, right? And so you could have done that with Yoko, okay?
Not to create a new one.
Not to create a new
Yeah,
one.
but the independence of it, that
But the
the Attorney General
independence
or
of
the
it-
executive has no hand in
but
it.
you see, you were created by Parliament. Yoko was also created by Parliament. The independence is a parliamentary provision. It's in there. You understand?
No, what he's not bad for his saying that
No,
any
on
of
the
these
Shraj
institutions-
bit-
no,
on the
all
Shraj
these
bit, yes, I can
institutions could
understand
be,
that.
No,
Yes.
he's saying that any of these institutions could be given those powers.
Those
and
powers.
then the independence we want.
No, the independence. You see,
That's
Yoko would not have enjoyed that independence because
If you
Yoko
make-
also takes power from the
No,
88.
no, why? If you also make, if you made it independent by the law, that would be it.
No, but you see,
You see, Salom, oh no, please allow
no,
me to finish.
yes. So hold your horses. I can give you a pen
They
and
are
paper.
doing this. You see, Bafa is doing this because he doesn't want us to discuss the NSS and
Oh, no,
Bafa
no.
stuff.
No,
We did not come here to discuss the legitimacy of the
wait.
constitutional legitimacy of the OSC.
Wait, yes, go ahead.
We will
Go
not
ahead.
allow it.
Salom,
Yes.
let it be known on this table.
We'll take some time to discuss.
No, they are dealing with your mic. So.
Salom, let
No,
it be known
it's-
on
they are
this
dealing with
table that I'm a student of accountability. I'm a tax-paying Ghanaian.
No, it's not in
And I
doubt.
think that everybody who holds public office
Must be accountable.
accountable.
Great.
But we must demand that within the confines of the law. That is my position. No, look, Salom, when you are creating an office that bequeaths to the holder the power to prosecute, the power to investigate, the power to arrest, that has constitutional connotation, and you don't do that easily. You have to be careful how you are doing it, because if you are not careful, somebody may abuse it without proper checks, and that is what we are seeing. That is what we are seeing. If you are not careful, the person will use the office to work for himself. Look,
No,
What?
what are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting.
No,
anything.
not in specific reference.
Look, when Mr. Martinamidu occupied that office, he did only one prosecution. He went after the current majority leader, Mama
How
Yariga.
successful was he?
He wasn't successful. And that is all he did, because Mama Yariga, Honorable Mama Yariga, was alleged to have taken advantage of the car loan given to him by Parliament. All right.
Really speaking, of all things.
You understand? And so, if you are not careful, holders of that office will abuse the power you have given them for their personal interest or things that do not serve the overriding interest of the country. And that is why creation of that office should not be done easily. That is why in other countries, special prosecutor is a special assignment with timelines. When it is done, you are done. But in the fight against corruption, you need an institution with substantive experience, substantive history, substantive independence, right? Which has that respect, doesn't wrap itself around one individual. which is what we have done with the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And so far, the results is there for us to see. Do you know the danger? The danger is that he has security of office for 7 years. And so even if he doesn't do anything, and assuming he even works for himself, he goes away with the benefits within the 7 years. What do you do to him?
No, but are you saying that we cannot trigger 146?
You can remove it.
No, can we not trigger, constitutional provisions to get him removed?
You see what I'm telling you? It's 11:45.
That is speculation. I don't want to engage in speculation.
No, but I'm saying that his office is
reality.
Yes, his office has conditions of service, pegged at that of the Court of Appeal, I think. The same will remove Charlotte Osei and
He's
talk on
removable.
He is removable. But that's not the discussion. But to say that he cannot be touched, I'm
saying
that's
for
I'm not sure
7 years,
yes,
he has a tenure of office.
Yes.
You can remove him.
Yes.
But on a basis.
On the basis.
specified
Exactly
basis.
the case.
But now you don't have that basis. And so until you have that basis,
Yes.
if you are not careful,
Listen, he's
There's
working
no
for
need
himself.
for us to
I'm
remove
saying- I'm
him.
not saying
There's
he's
no
working
need
for
for
No,
himself.
I'm saying he could. He could, yes. So,
Yes.
so what was the way forward on
the
this?
way forward, in my view, very respectfully, is to consolidate the existing agencies.
So the constitutionality is still the way forward for you.
Yes.
The constitutionality.
I don't think
All
that's
right.
the
Great.
constitution-
All right.
The
No,
constitutionality
let me come to
I
Nick
beg
Paku.
you catch me.
Oh,
The
no, but-
constitutionality matter must be addressed, and I think the
Wait,
politicians should.
Okay.
But the issue of
No,
corruption
wait,
is
wait,
serious,
All right.
and because of the importance of it, once we can all agree, if you have a problem, let's work with what we have for now. Let's achieve the results that we need. Let's make sure that people realize that you cannot just rip this
Are you
country
achieving
and
the
walk
results?
away.
You're not achieving
I said,
the
no, let's
results.
start. I mean, the process is starting. Let's give the OSP the benefit of the doubt. Let's keep our tabs on him. Make sure that he expedites his action. You understand?
He's
Right.
just saying.
But we shouldn't now
But
make
we should
the
know.
constitutionality of his office now become the issue about Ofori-Atta. We are not really discussing Ofori-Atta, we're discussing constitutionality.
No.
Meanwhile, Ofori-Atta matter we
Yes,
are talking
but
about.
I'm saying that. So yes, now let me come to you before I come to Nick Paku. Will you say
Ofori-Atta, wherever he is, please come, pray hard and come.
he will come? He will come.
And wear white.
He will come.
Oh, wow.
I'm saying that. Are you saying that the office of the special prosecutor, even though you have, difficulty with the office itself in terms of its setting up, etc., are you saying that it hasn't achieved anything in the past few years it's been set up?
So there is a factual issue. How many?
No, the mere mention of the office of the special prosecutor could make somebody stop doing something wrong.
The mere mention of
Preventive.
No, so we had the OSP.
Preventive.
We had the OSP.
Yeah.
We have the
Yoko.
Auditor General. We
Yes.
have Yoko.
Yes.
And we are alleging that NSS 2.2 billion is missing. They were there and we dug a hole, $96 million. They were there and what's called Hanan is being alleged to have acquired all these what's called properties. They are there, and right now corruption has gotten to a level where it's become more than a canker in our. So and you see, and
By
I
the way,
think
people are saying they are enjoying your show, pal.
you see, and
Senor is making people enjoy your show.
and
That is
you
creating confusion.
when it comes to the whether or not the OSP is successful or not, I think it's a factual issue. It's not a matter of opinion. By now, we should be having a table. How many? Since the parking scheme, and also what happened.
Listen, I said it wasn't within his purview.
So that was
It wasn't his purview.
My point
You
was
see,
this.
no, but
No, I come to you. You have.
Relax.
Relax. No, Nick Paku hasn't had his say. No, Nick Paku hasn't had his say. Wait. No, Nick Paku hasn't had his say.
1 minute.
All right, so Nick Paku, so yeah, so
I say that.
No, but do you
Auditor
not
General.
agree? Do you not agree that the OSP or whoever can go against Ofori-Atta with or without his presence?
No, I agree with him.
Okay, great.
But my point.
I raised the matter. You have to
Yes,
be
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
but he
you
supported
see,
it with
yes.
1903.
But the other point is that the Auditor General,
Yeah.
it's about time we give him prosecutorial powers.
Agreed.
Okay.
Because if there's one report that we can, the search charges and things
Everybody can come around here.
can come around, it's his
General's
office.
report.
Why I even have a problem
You understand?
with the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
The reason, you see, the OSP's office is a very relevant office because if for nothing at all, I think he should stop going after the low-hanging fruit, the teachers, whatever. That one there, I disagree with
payroll.
the payroll thing.
The
payroll, 10,000. No, when we had the whole that we could all see. You understand? You see, the whole idea is that he is supposed to go after
big fishes.
white collar,
Crime.
you know, clear acts of corruption. You understand?
No, but manipulating
and you see,
the payroll.
I think that look, I think that we should even go ahead and give him a threshold. If the offense is not below maybe 50 million, he shouldn't even touch it. You understand? So that we leave those small things.
No, but
see,
but
the auditor,
how about on the surface it looks like 2 million. But when you dig, look at the NSA matter. It started small, but
you give him a threshold. That if the matter is not about maybe 10 million, 50 million, 20 million, you don't have any business touching it. You understand? Then we can deal so that his focus will not be almost like what's the tentacles everywhere, the octopus, everything, the petition. No. The OSP's office must public land everything. No. The OSP. The minimum is 20 million, 30 million. Then we know that. Look, these are the fishes out there.
Casey is doing his job. Okay. He's working hard. It's not. It's also a constrained office. And
that is why you don't go after everything.
I agree. So I mean, let's all work with. Let's help shape the office because you know we have. Listen. Hold on. We brought in Martin Hamidu before God the man. What have we seen? So please, Casey is progress.
Yes.
So let's
but
help.
we can improve.
I agree. Let's help shape that office and let's make it be impactful as we desire it to be. Things like what you are saying, I think is relevant.
Yeah.
He's in Parliament. We should be looking at doing it. Either curing the constitutional problem, and also putting the parameters that make it effective. And empowering it, we should do that. But I beg you, democracy is dying. Confidence in it is dying. The data is showing it, and corruption is a major contributor to it. So don't take it. Don't. That's why I said, Ofori-Atta, I beg you, be fasting and prayer.
One more
Give
prayer.
us your Bible verse and wear your white and come and have faith.
On that note,
and come back.
On that note, we move on.
I had the services of my friend here. He's very good.
On that note, I mean, we'll take a short break. When we return, we'll deal with the buffer stock matter, the AG raised as well, and he calls it the rumble in the jungle. We'll try and unpack that as well. This is a big issue on 97.3 City FM and on ChannelOne television. We'll be right back.